Okay, so it's June. Does anyone know how to read this one? It means June, by the way, June. Some tips. So, hi everyone. Welcome back to Weekly Korean Live class. And my name is Keijin. 안녕하세요, 케이진입니다. And 안녕하세요, 침침입니다. Welcome back to Weekly Korean Live class. Woo! Hello, Monica and Wasanda and Nate, Chris and Wasanda. Yes, I. Oh, Kiara, your birthday is 13th. Happy birthday in advance. My birthday is in June too. And Indu, Disha, awesome. So, do I have the answer? Does anyone know how to say June in Korean? This is how we write June in Korean. And do you know how to read this? Anyone? Anyone the answer? The reason why I'm asking it is it's actually exception. 안녕하세요, Praktiksha and 이원워 모스미. You're back. Essie the Great and Davia and Honey, Trisha, great. And of course on Facebook too. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And let's start from June because Gilon, you say 6월, right? 6월? Because 6 in Korean is 6 and 월. Actually, Gilon, that's a good try. And Disha, awesome, that's a good try too. And Praktisha, you got the answer. The answer is not 6월, it's 6월. Theoretically, it should be 6 because it's 6 and 월. So it should be 6월, 6월. But in Korean, we say 6월, 6월, 6월. 음미 should be 6월, 6월. And Evan to 6월. Another exception for you. How about this? Do you know how to say this? This is, by the way, October. This is a time when you see beautiful autumn leaves in Korea. This is, theoretically, it should be 10월, right? 10월. Because 10 is 10 in Korean and 월 here. But actually, nope. It's another exception, so it should be 10월. Kim, awesome job. And Jelai, perfect. Bakris, awesome. Awesome. Great job, everyone. So, other than that, all other months don't have any exception. So, just remember June and October. Jeff, yes, you're right. It should be 10월, some exception. Okay, some tips before today's lesson. Today's lesson is very important grammar lesson. Yay! Can you see this? It's verb nominalization. It is very, very, very important. So please keep watching it. And why do you delete the last letter? Because it's just an exception. This is how Korean people say. There's no rule, just an exception. Maryjoy. Okay. Jewelry. If you don't know any Korean, I personally recommend you to start learning from this Korean alphabet because as you can see, I'm going to use Korean alphabet a lot. And you know what? Korean alphabet is very easy to learn. It's not my personal opinion. It's the opinions from my students, Korean students. So we are actually giving away free Hangul worksheet. So please check it out. So, tararan. If you see, I removed this. Oops. If you see this, if you click the link in the description, you will see some page, something like this. So if you scroll down, you can download this. Do you see this orange button? Yes, you can download free Hangul ebooks. Please check it out. Hangul is really, really easy to learn. So start from here. And if you already know Hangul and if you want to understand more about my lesson, today's lesson note is here. The button is gray now, right? If you click this button, you can download lots of different learning materials. And also today's lesson note. Today, I only have 30 minutes, so I cannot give you all the examples that I prepared today. And there are lots of grammar details, so I have to skip some part, unfortunately, since I have only 30 minutes. So if you want to catch up everything, if you want to learn everything about this topic, please check out the link in the description. We are giving away for free if you have Korean Class 101 account. And if you don't have any account, you just need to sign up. But please don't worry, if you have free account, you can download this. I still sometimes get the comment, teacher, is it a paid account? Can I use only 2 weeks? No, you can use the website for free, but there are paid materials too, paid materials. But if you are not interested in paid materials, you can check all these free materials like this. There are a lot of free materials that you don't have to pay anything, so please check it out. Of course, if you learn with paid account, do you see this yes, do you see the icon on the bottom right side? Yes, you can talk to the teachers, or there are lots of features if you are interested in paid membership. But yes, for this lesson it's free. So I hope it's clear. I get the comment every week. So I want to make it clear. Okay, so let's start today's lesson. Today's lesson is 기. Verb Nominalization. Kiara, thank you. One of the best websites to learn Korean. Woohoo! Kai, Jun in Korean is you are. Disha, you are learning Korean verbs. Awesome. Korean verbs are really important. And if you know some Korean verb, this lesson will be really, really, really helpful. Okay, so let's see. So what is this, teacher? Let me give you some example. I like study Korean. Do you find anything weird? I like study Korean. Well, I have to say I like studying Korean. Grammatically, right? In English grammar, I have to say I like studying Korean, or I like to study Korean. But you don't say I like study Korean. Another example, I'm thinking about go to Korea next year. Is that okay? I'm thinking about going to Korea next year. You change the verb go to going, right? You put ing at the end, so you make the verb into the noun form. For example, my hobby is listen to BTS music. Instead of that, you often say my hobby is to listen to BTS music, or my hobby is listening to BTS music. Like when you use the verb, you sometimes use ing form, right? Ing form. Same in Korean, we sometimes cannot use the verb directly when we conjugate with other verb. Like I like ing. Yes, we need it. When you conjugate with other Korean verb, we have to use ing form in English, right? Or to. I want to. It's not like I want study Korean. You say I want to study Korean. Something like that. When you conjugate with other verb, again, then you need to change the verb to ing form or to verb. In Korean, there are many different ways to make this form, ing or to, verb nominalization. But today, let's focus on 기. There are like 것 or There are many ways. In English too, there are ing or to. It depends on the English grammar. Korean too. There are like 기 or 것, There are many ways, but today we are going to focus on 기. Okay? So how do you use it? It's not difficult, so please don't worry. IBT 입티쌈. Korean Class 101 is the best! Yay! Sami. Sorry in Korean is 미안해. in casual way or 죄송합니다 in formal way. Okay, so let's practice. Noman, yes, you must learn the Korean alphabet if you are really serious about understanding Korean. I 100% agree. Yes. Okay, so I have some example for you. I prepared a verb to run. You run, right? Run, run. Run in Korean is 달리다. It's like run in English. Run in English. In English, if you want to make it as a noun form of this run, because it's a verb, you say running, right? Running. You put like ing, ing. In Korean, all Korean verb ends with 다, 다, 다. Gil, awesome job. Yes, yes, you are right. Great. So, all Korean verb end with 다. So just remove 다 and put 기. That's it. You're done. So 달리 is the verb stem. And just put 기 and it becomes running. Running. So it's now, it works as a noun. Noun. 달리기 is running. 달리다 is like to run. 달리기 is like running. 모니카 달리다기? No. You have to remove the 다. No 다. 달리다기? No. We only need verb stem. We don't use the verb directly. What is the verb stem? Remove 다 at the end. That you only have 달리, right? 달리. Plus 기. This is verb nominalization. Using 기. Okay, great job. Free palace. And then 푸라, you say you don't want to run. 달리기 싫어요. That's great example because using this form, today I'm going to introduce lots of different sentence patterns that you can use. 해탈. Is that okay? 해탈 tank? You missed some lecture point. Don't worry, we are going to practice a lot. A lot. Oh, Sami, you tried to sign in. Oh, you just need to click the button, then there will be pop up. Sign up. Then choose your level and enter your email address. That's it. Then you will get the email from our website. So just verify the email. Yes, Pura, that's right. Remove 다 and the left part is the verb stem. How about this? Let's practice some more. I wake up in the morning. I get up. I was sleeping and then I woke up. It's 일어나다. You wake up in the morning, right? Or you get up. You get up. 일어나다. 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 Lori에 can't sentence please. Yes, I'll start with a phrase first and make a long sentence. We have a lot of beginner learners, so if I make a sentence from the beginning, it will be very difficult for them. So let's start with the vocabulary first. So 일어나다. How can you make it as waking up? For example, this is get up or wake up. Wake up. In English, you say getting, oops, I don't have enough space, or waking up, right? Waking up. In Korean, you get the verb stem. What is the verb stem? Just remove 다, then you have these three letters. 일어나. This is a verb stem. So just put 기. 일어나기 means getting up, waking up. In English. That's it. 일어나기, Josna and Hangul Hamster and Charmaine Kim, great job. Perfect. 일어나기. So is that okay? The form is not very difficult, right? In Korean, sometimes you have to use different form depending on what letter it ends. Like, does it end with consonant? Does it end with vowel? So we use different conjugation. But for this 기 form, it's very simple. It doesn't matter. Just get the verb stem, remove 다, and just replace it with 기. That's it. Do you want to make a longer sentence? Longer form? How about getting up early? Getting up early or waking up early. Early in Korean is 일찍. 일찍. So getting up early is 일찍 일어나기. 일찍 일어나기. Oh, 프라작타. That's easy. Perfect. So now we made it. When can you use this verb nominalization? Because there are many different verb nominalization, right? Like 기 or 것. When can you use this 기 form? This verbal noun often used for activity like running or walking or quality, quantity, extent, or state of being. So please don't worry about all these grammatical details. I just want to introduce it, but it's very difficult to remember. So my personal advice is you learn with the sentence pattern. And also when you make a list, we often use this 기 form. For example, what was your New Year's resolution? Oh, Jeff, thanks a lot for your donation. Jeff, thanks for the lesson. Shout out to the or chimichimi. And what is the difference between 기 and 고 있어? Keep you. So the difference with 기 is just a noun form. So it's like running. 고 있어 is a present progressive. For example, I am running right now, or I am eating right now. So something is happening right now, right? That's 고 있어. However, 기 here is noun form. It's just a noun now. Noun. It's like running, studying. I love studying. Studying is fun. Learning Korean is fun. Walking is relaxing. Something like that. So, or studying Hangul is easy. Something like this. So, losing weight. 짠. We'll say 살 빼기. So it was your New Year's resolution. Kritika. Oh, your New Year's resolution was reading more books. 책 많이 읽기. Do you see 기 form at the end? Why did I use this 기 form? When we make a list, when Korean people make a list, or when we plan, like I want to do future plans, we often use 기 form. We don't say 살 빼다. My New Year's resolution, 살 빼다. 책 많이 읽다. No. We when we have the form, when we have this list, or when we have a New Year's resolution, when we have our future plan, like when I go to Korea, I do this. Number 1, number 2, number 3. When we make a list, we don't use the verb dictionary form directly. We often use 기 too. Great, awesome job, and free. Yes, that's a perfect example too. Okay. Another thing that I want to explain is 기. This form is often used for unfinished action. Well, I'll explain more about this next week while I'm comparing with other verb nominalization. But if you want to know this, when you can use among lots of different verb nominalization words like 기, 것, it's often used for unfinished action. And emotion adjective. This is a point. Emotion adjective. Teacher, what is the emotion adjective? For example, it's how you feel. How you feel. For example, I'm busy doing something. Can you see this? I'm busy doing something. In English, you probably say, oh, I'm busy working. Yes, let's try this. I'm busy working. You don't say I'm busy work. You don't say I'm busy work. You say I'm busy because I'm working, or I'm busy working. So you use this kind of ing form. In Korea too, we change it to ing form. So let's try. What is work in Korea? Work. 일하다. 일하다. Now I have to use this form because busy ing is 기 바빠요. 기 바빠요. How can I use this 기 form? If I want to use 기 form, I always need to find the verb stem. What is a verb stem? Just remove 다 at the end. Then you only have 일하, 일하, 일하. Perfect, free, and is SC, as the great SC, Angela, Gilon. Yes, 일하기 바빠요. 일하기 바빠요. 윤, 한국어 공부하기 좋아해요? Perfect. 디샤, great. 일하기 바빠요. I'm busy working. 일하기 바빠요. Do you want to say casually? I'm using your form because it's standard Korean. It's quite safe. If you meet someone for the first time, if you use this form, it's safe. But if you want to use some Korean sentences to your close friends, then you might be too polite. Just remove you, then it will be a casual way to say I'm busy working. 일하기 바빠. Let's try another example. Now I wanna say, I busy studying. I'm busy studying. Okay, so what is study in Korean? Dakren. This means just ing. You make the verb as a noun form. So it's a verbal noun. So for example, in English you have studying. So you have to study. Study is a verb and studying is kind of like noun form. You use ing form. In Korean too, we have the verb 공부하다. 공부하다. It means to study. It's just a verb. But I have to use this 기 form. So when we use the verb 바쁘다 or 바빠요 or 바쁩니다. It's many ways to say busy. 바쁘다. Then very often we use this 기 form before that. So now I need to use verb stem only. What is the verb stem? Just remove 다. Then you only have 공부하기 바빠. I'm busy studying. It's a casual way to say it. I want to say politely. 공부하기 바빠요. It means I'm busy studying again. But it's a bit more polite. Nate, great question. Could you use it with exercise? Yes. What is exercise in Korean? Exercise in Korean is 운동하다. 운동하다. Please know that you have to use the verb form. 운동 is just a noun form. Noun is like workout. Noun. But you need to find the verb first when you use this 기 바빠요 form. 기 바빠요. So find the verb form first, which is 운동하다. Remove 다. So you only have this verb stem. Verb stem means get the verb and remove 다. And the left part is verb stem. 운동하기 바빠요. I'm busy exercising. Okay, great. I think you're okay with this sentence pattern. How about this? I have another sentence pattern. Is this. 기 쉬워요. Again, this is an adjective and this is how you feel. So when you have some adjective relate to your feeling, emotion, then very often we use 기 form before this adjective. It's easy to do something. For example, my example is 한글 배우다. What does it mean? Hangul is the Korean alphabet. 배우다 means to learn. So to learn Korean alphabet. To learn Korean alphabet. Hangul is again this alphabet. 한글 배우다. Now I want to say it's easy to learn the Korean alphabet 한글. It's easy to learn 한글. How can I use it? I just need to use 기 쉬워요. I just need to conjugate it with 기 쉬워요. 기 쉬워요. How can I conjugate it? Just get the verb stem and say 기. Perfect, Disha. Perfect. Kim and Angela, great, thanks for the comment. And just remove 다 at the end. Honey, perfect. So you only have this verb stem, right? Stem plus 기 쉬워요. 한글 배우기 쉬워요. It's easy to learn the Korean alphabet. 한글 배우기 쉬워요. Great, I have another sentence pattern. I have another emotion. If you have easy, what do you expect next? Difficult. Yes. For example, it's difficult to sing. It's difficult to sing. What is sing? Sing. To sing in Korean is 노래하다. Now I want to say it's difficult to sing. Again, difficult is how I feel, right? How I feel. It's related to my feeling and it's an adjective. So very often we use this 기 form. How can I conjugate this 기 form with 노래하다, meaning to sing? Okay, first I need to get the verb stem. Okay, this is a verb. I have the verb. What's the verb stem? Remove 다 at the end. You have 노래하. 노래하 is the verb stem. Okay, I got this verb stem. Put 기 at the end. 노래하기. And then now say 어려워요. It's difficult to sing. 노래하기 어려워요. Gilon, good job. Kim, perfect. 박크리스, yes, you are right. And free honey, Indu, Pura, Mars. Perfect. You guys are so smart. 파라자카, that's also good way to say it too. 노래는 어려운 일이다. It means singing is a hard thing. 노래하기 어려워 is difficult to sing. 노래하기 어려워. How about this? I want to say it's difficult to sing in Korean. In Korean is 한국어. 한국어 means the Korean language. 한국어, Korean. And then you put 로. 로 is kind of, literally means it's a kind of like with. Because singing in Korean is, I'm using Korean to sing, right? So it's kind of with or using. So in Korean, we often use this 한국어로. But in English, it's in Korean, right? So 한국어로 노래하기 어려워요. 한국어로 노래하기 어려워요. It's difficult to sing in Korean. I have Mars and you guys are so smart. How about this form? I have another emotion adjective. It's tiring. Actually, 힘들어요. Kim is easy. You are smart. 힘들어요. It literally means it's tiring. It can be physically tired because you did a lot of work and then do another thing. It's tiring, right? It can be physically tired, or it can be also mentally tired, or simply it's hard. You are not tired at all, but it's just hard to do. For example, government made lots of regulations, so it's hard to do business for me. It's something like that. So it can mean tiring physically or mentally, or it's just simply hard to do. Simply because it's not your issue, it's not your problem. But maybe there are so many barriers, so many obstacles, so it's hard to do. So it's 힘들어요. How about this? It's tiring to walk. What is walk in Korean? Walk is 걷다. 걷다, meaning to walk. Now I want to say it's tiring to walk because I walked 20 hours today, so I can't walk anymore. It's tiring to walk. Now I'm using this sentence pattern. 기 힘들어요. 힘들어요. Tiring. Why is hard? It's hard to walk. How can I conjugate with 기 form? Perfect, Kim and Gilon. Perfect. Just remove 다 and put 기. 걷다 is the verb and the verb stem is 걷. So I just put 기 like this. 인도 is not 걷다기 힘들어요. Always remove 다 at the end. You don't use 다 when you conjugate with other verb. 젤라이 애기 돌봐주기 힘들어요. So 걷기 힘들어요. It's another sentence pattern. And how about this? 따라라라라. I've started ing. For example, I've started dancing. I suddenly started dancing with 침침이. 침침이 started dancing. How can I say started dancing? I've started dancing. By the way, in Korean sentence, I didn't use I or he, she, they, you. I didn't use it. So you can omit it. If you want to put it, you can add it. But if it's understood in the context, you don't have to add it. So the English translation, I always need the subject. So I put I just as one of the example here. But here, yes. But it can also mean you started doing something, or he started doing something, she started doing something, they started doing something, we started doing something. So you have to understand it from the context. Mars, 춤춤하기 시작했어요? Almost. What is to dance in Korean? It's 춤추다. 춤추다. What is the verb stem here? Disha, you are right. There is another way to say to dance is 춤을 추다. 춤을 추다. Either is fine, but I'm going to make it simple because this is actually looks simple, right? So I use this one. But 춤을 추다 is perfect, is correct. 춤을 추다 is perfect. And then, what is the verb stem? I need to get the verb stem. Verb stem is 춤추. Why? Because if you remove 다, then that's the verb stem. So, 춤추기 시작했어요. 시작했어요. In English, you also don't say, I started study. You don't say that. You say, I started studying. So you change the form. Same in Korean, we don't use the verb 춤추다 directly. We have to change the form, which is 기. So when something is started doing something, then you use 기 시작했어요. It's not 춤추기 시작했어요. It's 춤추기 시작했어요. It means I've started dancing. Another sentence pattern I have. Do you see this? If you know this key form, you can actually make a lot of different sentences. That's why this verb nominalization key is very important. Not just because it's verb nominalization, but this form is very commonly used when you conjugate with other verb or adjective. It's really, really, really common. So if you know this form, then now you can easily conjugate it with other form. That's amazing. Kim 운동하기 시작했어요. I've started exercising. Awesome job. How about this? Now I have another form. Mars, 널 사랑하기 시작했어요. That's also so romantic. I've started loving you. Perfect. It's amazing. How about this? I've promised to do something. To my parents, I promised to study hard. What is study in Korean? It's 공부하다. Okay, now I need to conjugate with 공부하다 with 기로 약속했어요. How can I conjugate it? I need verb stem, right? Since I already have the verb stem, I only need to get the verb stem, which is 공부하. Why? 공부하다 is a verb. Verb stem is without 다, If you remove that, then that's the verb stem. So 공부하. Yay! I got the verb stem. Verb stem plus 기. 공부하기. Now, I just do this. 약속했어요. 약속했어요. It means promised. It's a past form. 약속했어요. I promised to study. How about I promised to study hard? Hard in Korean is study hard. Hard. 열심히. 열심히. 열심히 공부하기로. 열심히 공부하기로. Yes, you need 로 by the way here. 열심히 공부하기로 약속했어요. This is just a form. 열심히 공부하기로 약속했어요. Okay, so we learned lots of sentence patterns today. 열심히 공부하기로 약속했어요. By the way, do you know the body gesture for 약속하다 means to promise? I heard that in other countries this means that it can mean bad meaning, but in Korean very commonly Korean people do this. It means promise, promise me, promise me. So this is a Korean body gesture. So especially a lot of girl group do this. Promise me, please, promise me. So it means promise. Why? Because in Korea, when you promise, we do this hand gesture. This means, hey, let's promise to keep our friendship forever. Promise. So this means promise in Korean. This is body gesture, Korean culture. Okay, so thank you. I hope today's lesson was useful. We learned a lot of sentence patterns today, which means you need to practice. If you don't practice, as a human being, we will naturally forget. So please don't worry if you forget just because it's lack of practice. It's not because of the problem of your brain. Only thing you need is effort and time and practice. So please review again. If you want to practice with our lesson note, the link is in the description. So if you click the link in the description, yes, ta-da! Yes, you will see, if you click the link in the description, you will see this kind of page. Yes, just click this button, then you can find even more examples with clear explanation. So check this out so you can practice even more. And also, if you are not familiar with this Korean alphabet, Hangul, then you can also learn it from the link in the description for free. So please check it out. Homework, Kiara. Actually, yes, I do have homework. I have 4 Korean verbs. Don't say the answer yet. This is a homework for other people. 쓰다 meaning to write. You write down. Another verb is 읽다. It means to read. Another 말하다. It means to speak. 듣다 means to listen or to hear. Can you change this verb into 기 form? If you can change this normal verb to this verb nominalization, 기 form, please do it. And if you tag me on my Instagram, then I will answer you. By the way, I'm getting a lot of messages every single day. So if you just send me a message, I cannot read them all. But if you tag me on your Instagram story or Instagram post, I can check it and answer you. But if you just message me, it's very difficult for me to answer all. So I'll be only answering the story, tagged story or tagged post on Instagram. I use Instagram only. So if you use Facebook and YouTube only, just leave a comment in the below. So for beginners, yes, just change this full form to this key form. But if you are upper beginner and intermediate advanced learners, can you make sentence, not just key form, but sentence using this key form? We learned a lot of these different sentence pattern. Can you use this and use the sentence pattern that we learned today? I'll correct you. So thank you very much, everyone. And please remember this form. Busy, easy, difficult, tiring, start, promise. So please promise to study Korean, and please promise me to do homework if you have time. And thank you so much. Oh, Wasan, I'm glad you like my earrings. And Josan, Josana, sorry, and Gilon and Kim for lots of comments today, and Charmaine, awesome, Bakris, and of course Monica, honey. Today's lesson was fun. I'm glad to hear that. So thank you very much. And Disha, Mondrini, Wellington, Laksheva, and Free, and Kiara, Indu. Okay, thank you. So we will see you next week. Next week's topic will be another verb nominalization, which is what got. I told you there are many ways to nominalize verb, right? Next week I'm going to talk about this is another way to nominalize verbs, Korean verbs. So please join in again, and I'll see you next week, 1 p.m. in Korean time at the same time, Thursday. Merci, Veronique. Bye bye, Pura. Sheila. Bye bye.